Hello, my friends. John LaRuffa here with another Straight Up Solo. In this episode, we're going to take a look at Click a Tree by Uwe Rosenberg. Let's get started. Okay, folks, and as usual, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. If you haven't, really do appreciate that support. Thank you very much. So the way this game works is this is a kind of a tile drafting game where you are building um, a, a grouping of trees, and the trees in the center are important, and how you place your tiles are important for fulfilling these tasks. And as you fulfill them, you take them off. And as you take them off, you get a bigger storage area for these 7 different fruits that you can store. And then you will place these harvest tiles, and the harvest tiles will get you more of the fruits. Okay. Now, in the multiplayer game, the way you play is you have to get a certain amount of these fruit tiles here cross these finish lines. All right. And for instance, if you get, now imagine these are all gone. If you get 2 up to this 2 spot, then you would end the game, and the first person to do that would win. And if there's a tie, you then score for the fruit value, which is basically 0 to 10 based on the fruit that's in there. Okay. And as you fulfill these harvest tiles by harvesting from every angle, you'll put these task complete tiles in there, or markers in there, and that will slowly move this down, making it easier to end the game, all right, and to cross the finish line, if you will. So you're trying to do both of those things at once. You're trying to accomplish the tasks by placing the tiles in certain configurations, and you're trying to complete your harvest and score more of these fruits. Now, the other thing is that as you have tiles together that match, when you harvest, you would get 2 of these types of fruits, or in this case, 3, because this one is also matching. So that'd be 1, 2, 3. And let me just demonstrate a little bit for you so you understand kind of what's going on. So on your turn, you're going to spend 1 fruit to pick up the tiles that are bordering that, okay? So in looking at the tasks I need to do, one of them is, and you can do these in any order, 2 times 3 identical trees in a triangle shape. Well, I have one of them right here. In order to do another one, I need to get one of these trees right there. So that means that I want to take this tile, and I can either take this or this with it. And so what I'll probably do is I will pay this one right here. All right, so I'll drop down 1 avocado, and then I will take both of these. Now I place these landscapes. The first one I place down, I can put anywhere I want, right? I'm going to place it right here, so that way I immediately complete this task. I move that up, and these all go up 1. All right, again, you can complete the tasks in any order. Okay, and the second tile I have to lay down, I'm going to lay it down right here. While doing that, triggers a harvest, and I would get 3 of these eggplants. But I only have space for 1, so I only get 1 of them. But that fills this, that means I've used all the harvest tokens, and I put this right here. And then I would bring down my first one like so, making it now, if I had 7 of them over there or more, I get more. And then you draw 2 more from the bag, and we keep going. So in a multiplayer game, you would, of course, be taking turns. You'd be drawing different things. And I'll explain why I'm talking about multiplayer a little bit, because this is a solo review, of course. But you would each take turns, and they could snag the tiles you need and other things. But in solo, none of that happens. In the solo, it literally says at the back here, the solo game hardly differs from the multiplayer game. Try to cross a finish line and then get as many fruit values as possible. You can then try to break this record next time. Normally, I don't have any problems with beat your own score, but in this case, I'll explain to you why that becomes problematic when I do my review. But let's see another couple turns. So, okay, it looks like I'm almost ready to fulfill this one. So now I can take any tile I want, put it over here. So let's do this. Since I have so much ability of harvesting these, I'll spend 1 eggplant, and I'll put any tile here that I want. Let's put this one. And, oh wait, eggplant, sorry. So eggplant would be these 2. So let's see, I could put this one here and this one here, starting off on my, next cashew kind of thing. I think that's what those are supposed to be, is cashews. And that means that I got 7 trees of any type and any fruit. Basically, here I remove that, so I move this up. Okay. Now, what I didn't do last time because I was talking, I was supposed to place one of these harvest tiles down before going to the next turn. So you're supposed to place these down at the end of your turn and do a harvest. So for the turn prior to, let's say I put this right here, then I would have harvested both of these. It would have just been one because I didn't remove it, okay? You don't harvest them twice when you put the tile down. You just harvest them once, even though there's 2 of them touching. So maybe a better move would have been something like that. And that would have been one of those, and then I could have gotten an avocado, all right? Now for this turn, I will put one down to harvest. I'm not allowed to do this because you can't have harvest tiles touch each other on the harvest side, but I would be allowed to do something like this if I wanted. And why would I want to do that? Well, maybe because I need to do some of these. Like this one, there's one tile in here that says you can, if you have 2 harvest tiles touching. Let's see. So this one says, 2 harvest tiles completely surrounded by other tiles. So if I put this here, I would kind of start on that one. I'd get 1 melon, and which looks like a lime, and then another avocado. Now, because I did that, I would immediately check this off and bring the 6 down, as you can see. And then you draw more. And you see this kind of thing goes around until you basically finish the game. Now, the game ends in one of 2 ways. It ends when either you have crossed the finish line by moving a certain number of fruit past the fruit marker, or when you can't put down any more of these harvest tiles. That's how the game ends. And then you would, in the solo game, you would score the total number of fruit points that you have here. And they give you these 2 player aids, which makes it really easy to know. I mean, this is really the whole game right here. And it clarifies what the rules make a little bit confusing in some ways, but I'll explain that in a second. So that is Click-a-Tree. Let me tell you what I think about it. So why did I mention the multiplayer in this solo review in the first place? Well, I mentioned it because I could potentially see how this could be a decent multiplayer game, because you're doing a race and you're trying to be more clever and faster than everybody else, and you're trying to fulfill your tasks in the most efficient way possible, and you're trying to move those other tasks down in the most efficient way possible to trigger the end of the game, where hopefully you trigger it faster than anybody else and you win. If it happens that 2 people do it at the same time, then you do the tiebreaker. Well, that is completely the opposite of what you're trying to do in solo. In solo, it says you're supposed to work for a high score. Well, I can't tell you how disappointing and frustrating that is for a game like this, because you literally have to do the exact opposite of what you're supposed to be doing in a multiplayer game. And for that, I am completely disappointed. This is the classic F tier for a solo game. And I'm upset because Uwe Rosenberg is probably my favorite designer, and I do like a lot of his light games. Framework, for instance, is a very puzzly, fun game that I like of his that's lighter than this even. I'm also frustrated that these tasks are so ridiculously easy to accomplish. It's almost like there's virtually no thinking here. And then when you're playing solo, there's no reason you can't draft exactly what you need every single time. So you're basically just waiting for the bag to prepare. But you have what? You have 8 different choices of patterns to go after at the beginning of the game. So you literally have nothing that slows you down from being optimized, except that you don't want to be optimized. You want to be sloppy. You want to go slow. Now you can clear those tasks fast, but then you want to go really slow in the harvest, because you don't want to end the game from a harvest standpoint. You want to make sure the game goes on as long as possible and move the fruits up as much as you can without triggering the end of the game. That is completely opposite from what the solo is, or from what the multiplayer is, from what the intent of the game is. It seems to me like the solo was put on to draw suckers like me into buying this thing. I mean, I like a lot of Beat Your Own Score Rosenberg games. They're all Beat Your Own Score. I love all of the ones that I have. And I've treated many of them in my S tier videos as being the best games I ever owned. So I came into this with high expectations. And then it was completely the opposite. Now, The rule book is poor beyond recognition. And I'm sorry. It is. It's full of errors. It's full of misunderstandings. It's full of confusion. The examples don't make sense. They reference endgame conditions that aren't true. They talk about lemons and stuff when they're clearly meaning avocados or something else. I just the whole thing, like this end game, which comes up in the errata, it shows how it ends. It says that the end happened when these two tokens got above the 2 line. All right, if that's the one. I'm sorry, I'm not going right through the whole thing, but it was clear that all 7 had already been above the 7 line. Here. This is finished before this even happened. All of these things were above there. So you took a simple game, you confused it by terrible rules. And then it has nothing to do with the translation here, and we'll get to that in a second. But the translation, someone said it's sloppy in German. Well, it's just as sloppy in English. Then you have a very weird translation. And I understand, you know what, you're a German company, you made a German game. So I would have, okay, it heralds the end of the game. Okay, that's a weird way of saying it in English. But it's not wrong. It's just different. So it's not about translation. It's about error after error. Another one. They literally tell me in the setup that I'm supposed to take number markers with the 5, 6, and 7. Yeah, I did that. Where's the other? Take, each of you receives a set of 7 different fruit. Nope. Place. Here we go. They talk about placing your task markers down. Each of you receives 13 end of work tiles. Sort them according to the small number at the bottom. The 1 goes on top. Place them in a pile next to your player board. There are no numbers on these things. And there are no numbers. This is what came in the box. I didn't get anything else. There are no numbers on these. So I was confused. Even what are they talking about? What do you mean sort by the no numbers? It was like a complete mail-in effort. Complete laziness. Sloppy. Not play tested at all from a solo standpoint, because any person who would see this would play it once and say, that's like the complete backwards way to play your game. Is this what you really want? I'm just really frustrated, as you can tell. And I don't trash games, but this is the worst. Now, maybe it's a good game, so it's an okay game, multiplayer, but I can't recommend this solo to anybody out there. So please avoid this. And what's really sad is this game is supposed to be helping people by sponsoring this charitable thing in the back here, where they're trying to help these folks from Ghana build a better life. Well, I can't recommend anybody buy this board game for that. This is a terrible game. So anyway, avoid with all costs. Solid F tier. I'm obviously upset because I had such high hopes. This is my favorite designer, and I just felt like I was duped by this company. It boggles my mind that it could have even been Uwe who made this game, but he must have. And I don't know what the deal was, but the solo mode is just one of the worst solo modes I've ever played in my life. So, avoid it. Don't get it unless you want to buy it for multiplayer. And if you want to buy it for multiplayer, I'm sure it's okay. But your best bet is to not even read the rules, to throw the rule book away and just to focus on these, because this is all you need to know, and the rule book is confusing. All right, I'm done. Thank you very much for watching. I hope that you have a better time with any other game in the world than the one I just played, and I will see you in the future. And as I always say, oh, I'm so frustrated. I'm mad at myself because I spent my good money on this piece of junk. Anyway, whatever you do in the future, I really hope you have a very good time doing it. Take it easy, everybody.